motion, always stoking the fire. Adrenaline is overloading, hit the mat like a fighter. They never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus.
It's another edition of Keep It in the Ring here on YouTube. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Richard Pearson, my co-host, each and every week. Log on. Stream Punk Entertainment presents Keep It in the Ring. And like, comment, and subscribe, folks, on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, Stream Punk Media Entertainment, and the world of boxing and combat sports, as we do each and every week, including this week. A ton of fights are starting to be made. And we have some pro wrestling stuff to talk about tonight and even some MMA stuff. We have an MMA fighter on the amateur level coming on at the bottom of the hour. Ring 786X at Twitter. That used to be Twitter. That's my handles on social media, along with Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, and other platforms. Richard Pearson there, my former, my colleague, the former fighter, the extraordinaire with so many things on his plate, is getting his social media together. The show has been doing great. Rich, you're doing great, and you ready to get it started?
I'm always ready.
And our buddy Scott Churston behind the scenes, as always, with String Puck Entertainment. And, folks, we want you to comment, and we're going to be going live soon. We'll have that announcement soon, let you know so you can comment as we go along. We want that interaction from you. In the meantime, comment about the show in the comments section on the YouTube channel. And don't forget, folks, that boxing is right now in the getting ready for the boxing season. February is going to be a big month. We'll talk about that. But for the moment, let's start with this, because the major story the past week is this continuing battle of words. As I wrote on social media, Rich, a battle of words. Stop being kids and just put the fights together. I'm talking about Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter, a Golden Boy. Of course, Ryan Garcia, the superstar. Some say a prima donna. Some say he's got to get back in the ring, who he can get. But he's rejecting opponents. Pitbull Cruz. And let's take a look at what's going on. Well, these are some of the Twitter or Instagram back and forths that we saw this week. Scott, can you roll that up a little bit? And Rich, you comment, because to me, this is childish and it doesn't help the sport at all. And you see what Ryan Garcia said about Oscar De La Hoya, and De La Hoya comment, and here one in particular. Rich, your vision is better than mine. What does that say?
Man, what the fuck, bro? Talks about me. I have nothing but respect for you. I offered I guess we can't say what that word is, but I guess it's ish.
Well, you already said it.
All right. Load of money to you, and you turn it down. Go fight Pitbull for pennies, bro, and good luck.
Oh, so there's a rip going on, and this is
so the response is, you should thank me and trademark Oscar Del. That's Fishnets. Yeah, well, you're right about that. Listen.
Can you imagine? This is what social media does in today on all walks of life, but especially the boxing business, like little kids.
No, we can't blame social media for the Fishnets. Listen to me. The Fishnets is a true story. We already know that Oscar De La Hoya, he put his coochie inside of the Fishnets and he posed in different colors. This is what Oscar De La Hoya does. Like I told you in the last show, all he does is open up his mouth. I didn't want to be vulgar with it, but you know what he does. Oscar should not be arguing with a young man. Oscar is supposed to go down in history as a legendary boxer, an icon. He's supposed to be the role model. But look what he's doing. He's out here. He's playing with different types of powder, fishnets, and now he's arguing with a little kid. Come on.
Yeah, and they got the zone involved in this too. There's on this one here, as you read it, Oscar De La Hoya and the zone and all that other stuff and the streaming network and how they're involved with Golden Boy and everything else. I mean, it's just back and forth garbage. A lot of name calling, and it doesn't do anything for the sport. And it comes down to this: Ryan Garcia wants to fight certain guys. Oscar De La Hoya wants him to fight other guys. And in the end, De La Hoya and Garcia are really adversaries under the same promotional banner.
No,
and
but
Rich, that's what's going on.
No, we can't say that, because think about it, right? You got to think about this. How many fighters has walked away from Oscar De La Hoya? There's a reason why these fighters are walking away from him. Even Alvarez. Alvarez is complained about him. Every fighter that was a superstar has complained about Oscar De La Hoya. Why? Because Oscar De La Hoya puts his bad habits in front of his fighters who has looked up to him. And these are Mexican fighters. Like these guys are people that looked up to Oscar De La Hoya and then get to know him and realize he's nothing but a scumbag.
Well, I think also what plays a part in this is I think Bernard Hopkins, the Hall of Fame, a former champion, who is second in command to De La Hoya, Golden Boy, I think he gets into Oscar's ear. But and I know, and we all know, Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya have no liking to each other either, because Bernard Hopkins kind of downplayed him just a few weeks ago at one of the fights at De La Hoya promotion, and I think that adds to this rift. But it comes down to a superstar like Ryan Garcia trying to command who he wants to fight. Granted, he is one of the biggest superstars in the sport at his age and poured in a lot of money with the Gervonta Davis fight last April, but broke all types of records on pay-per-view and whatever. But Ryan Garcia I think he just wants to be in command himself. No, I think he wants to call the shots. So then why doesn't he just become a free agent? He's trying to get away from De La Hoya and Golden Boy. That's what it's all about, too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, everybody once they find out who Oscar De La Hoya is, they do their best to get away from him. You know, they try their hardest. You know, as far as Bernard Hopkins being inside of Oscar De La Hoya's ear, we already know he was inside of Oscar De La Hoya's liver, and that's how he stopped him. So he's not second in command; he's the man in charge. You understand what I'm saying? So when it comes to Ryan knows it's not that he want to pick and choose his fights. He knows that Oscar doesn't have his best interest, and we can't just say that Ryan he's not out here cherry picking. I mean, this kid didn't take a tune-up fight after he got stopped by Tank Davis. He went in there with somebody that can actually hurt him. And what was the backlash? Oh my God, look at the stance he's using. He's trying to be like Floyd. He won the fight. So Oscar De La Hoya is bad for business. We all know that. You know, Golden Boy they're starting to go down the drain. You know, they did their job, you know, in the early 2000s and coming up, you know, but Oscar got to get his act right.
Well, it comes down to now, who does Ryan Garcia fight next? I mean, he wants to get back in the ring. And this division at 140, as we keep saying every week here on the program, the most competitive division in the sport. So then, you know, Ryan talks about Pitbull Cruz. And then you get Pitbull Cruz involved in the Pitbull Cruz and Wally Romero involved in this with the bad talking as well. So nothing gets solved that way. In the meantime, Garcia, De La Hoya are in the rift. It could be Jose Ramirez. See, at the end of the day, Raleigh's a pit bull. What you want, I don't need any of you at all. This, according to Ryan Garcia. None of you want to fight and make the biggest purse of your life. Not in my position to go ahead and fight between yourselves. All right? I mean, comments like this on social media doesn't help. That doesn't help anyone here.
That quote was from who?
I believe that came from Oscar. Scott, was that an Oscar De La Hoya? So much came out in the past few days about this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that came from Oscar De La Hoya. Or it might have been Ryan Garcia. That's more like Ryan Garcia's language there, and it could be Oscar's language. Well, that's how confusing this is. It's crazy, Rich.
Yeah. See. Listen. If you gotta go back to when we were coming up. I know we not close in age, but we come from an era where if you didn't get it from the horse's mouth, then we don't know what it is. We don't live off he said, she said. So as far as who Ryan should be fighting, I mean, there's a ton of fighters out there that he should be fighting and that he could be fighting, but I don't think he should fight Rolly. Like, why should he fight Rolly? You know, Rolly Romero doesn't deserve a shot against a Ryan Garcia. And Pitbull, I could see him fighting a Pitbull. Like that would be a
Well, yeah,
decent fight.
that was the talk. Apparently, Raleigh's saying that it's Raleigh versus now Pitbull Cruz, and it's going to be a part of the Amazon Prime initial initial broadcast going into boxing in March with the PBC. And he says it's going to be an explosion. That, according to
Oh,
Raleigh,
yeah.
I mean, I'm reading some of these tweets. I'm going back again because so much transpired in the last few days among 3 or 4 of these guys, including Oscar De La Hoya in the middle. And again, I'm going to reiterate what I said moments ago. It does not help anyone involved in this to get a significant fight going for either one of these guys in that division, where Teofimo Lopez is going to fight Jose Ramirez. I mean, he's a major part of this, but Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, Ryan Garcia, Pitbull, Raleigh, whatever, and then you got Gervonta Davis in the mix. I'm going to talk about him in a second.
I mean, listen. When it comes to Ryan Garcia, he's a young, cash cow. Tank Davis, he's the face of boxing right now. No matter what weight class you're speaking about, you're going to speak about Tank Davis. But back to what we were speaking about earlier. Oscar De La Hoya, get rid of Golden Boy, and let's clean it all up. Golden Boy needs rehab right now. Ryan Garcia should be fighting. He should be fighting Pitbull. Or maybe even Haney. He should get in the ring with Haney. But we shouldn't see
Haney's been in the discussion, but he was quiet about all of this. He really didn't say much.
Haney's always quiet. Only his father talk.
It's
only his father.
What do you think, Rich, from a fighter's perspective? I know you were a B-side fighter. But you were involved in a lot of fights, negotiating purses for yourself, and sometimes you advise fighters now also on the B side what to take, what to do. If you were Ryan Garcia right now, Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter, with all these other key players in this competitive division at 140, what do you advise for Ryan Garcia to do? Shut his mouth. Deal with De La Hoya tells him where you're going to make money, or pick your own opponent and do it your way.
Well, it depends on the contract that he has signed with Golden Boy. I mean, if he still has let's say he has 2 fights left. What I would do if I was Ryan Garcia, I would look at the stable that Golden Boy has, because every promotion company has an A side and a B side. They sign A side fighters as well as B side fighters to make the A side fighters look good. And what I would do is I would make sure I would fight the Golden Boy fighters that Oscar De La Hoya actually believe in, that's in the same weight class as me, and I would destroy them. I would take my last 2 fights against the fighters that Oscar De La Hoya believes in, that he's already signed as a B-side fighter to soon be an A-side fighter, and I would destroy them. I would ruin their career.
Strong statement from Richard Pearson about the state of what's going on here with Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya and company. And this remains to be determined every day. And we'll keep abreast of it and see what's going on. They got social media is where to go, folks. You log on. If you're not there, and you already know, if you're a boxing fan, you're watching this unfold on social media, which is the shame of it, because they should be doing this by themselves instead of going on social media bad-mouthing each other. But that's the world we're in today. And boxing is a major part of that. And Oscar De La Hoya is a major part of that. Ryan Garcia is a major part of that. But the PBC moves forward. They're coming back in March. It's been officially announced. Well, not officially, unofficially. They will make the major announcement, but it's out already. Amazon Prime will run their first pay-per-view of maybe 3 that they're planning. And they're looking at one of them being the Canelo Alvarez Cinco de Mayo tradition in early May. They have this is Canelo Alvarez's second of a 3-fight deal with the PBC. But now you got Amazon Prime, in fact. So they're coming in, and maybe on that telecast might be Gervonta Davis. There's been talk about Gervonta, who's a key player, key part of this 140-pound super welterweight division. Gervonta against Sergio Mateus. And that would be an interesting fight. Mateus doesn't get the high acclaim that he deserves in that division. But, Rich, the PBC is ready to launch with Amazon Prime. Your thoughts?
I mean, it's PBC. It doesn't matter who they connect with. It doesn't matter what network it is. It's all about if they're going to give the public the proper price, for these events. I believe the public is getting sick to their stomach for paying a certain amount of money to watch fights that stink up the show. I mean, honestly, like I'm happy. My last fight was on ESPN because I looked like I couldn't fight. Something happened with me in the first round, and I'm so happy people didn't have to pay for that televised. I feel bad for my last performance. It's over a decade ago, but I still feel bad, and I feel like I owe the public an apology. So if you're going to put pay-per-view fighters up, make sure it's real pay-per-view fighters. Isn't that going to stink up the crowd?
Well, right now, the guy that commands pay-per-view money that's marketable. Well, Ryan Garcia won. Gervonta Davis, though, he never fails on pay-per-view. And Amazon Prime's going into that with the PBC. So they got a winner there. It's going to be on Prime. They'll probably charge $74. But I find it very, very interesting. Streaming networks now are taking total control of the sport. No more free boxing on TV, folks. Except ESPN occasionally with Top Rank. You want to watch major fights, championship fights, Amazon Prime, ESPN, the Plus, and, of course, the Zone and Matchroom, which I'm going to discuss. That's been announced this week as well, that Matchroom is getting into a deal, and Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn are signing deals left and right all week. You can't keep up with it, Rich. They have they made a deal. They're setting up the fights. They're getting ready now, and when it comes to they got the zone.
Yeah, but when it comes to championship fights, elite fighters, top of the top, you don't even consider yourself an A-side fighter anymore. You're an elite fighter. I believe that everyone should have to pay to come watch you perform. All that hard work and dedication that you put in, every level that you made it to. You're almost a god of a sport. I believe everyone should have to pay to come see you fight. I mean, everybody paid 10% on Sunday when they go to church, when they get the word of the Lord, right? So you deserve, you should get that pay-per-view money. But I don't think anybody should get a pay-per-view shot. You got to earn that.
Well, and the promoters look at who is the marketable guy to earn it too. And again, the two big guys that proved that last April was Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, a fight everyone wanted to see that generated an awful lot of revenue. Yeah, and that's what they look at. That's what they look at. They look at who is the marketable guy for pay-per-view.
Yeah, but you're putting that's two names. That's two names. One was a social media guru. That's Ryan Garcia. And then you got the crowd that's going to come out for Tank Davis. We have to find out, can both of these guys actually sell out pay-per-view shows without each other?
Well, Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearn are the leader in boxing right now. And they announced a deal with another international promotion. They're combining efforts together. You can read all about that on social media and the Matchroom Boxing page and so forth. And also setting up their schedule from February on. And Eddie Hearn is in control of the sport. He's got, the Zone puts a lot of money into it with Eddie Hearn and even Golden Boy to an extent, but more so with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. But a spring schedule of fights that are going to be huge coming up. I look forward to this fight coming up for Matchroom coming up next weekend, next Saturday night in Las Vegas, as Conor Benn is going to leave England, where he's been on suspension for anti-doping, violating policies. The guy who fought Canelo Alvarez, finding a local guy from the Bronx, New York, I know really well, at 147, Conor Benn and Peter Dobson. And those two are going to fight for a lot of marbles on the table. No title, but implication. Now, for Peter Dobson, who hasn't been in the ring much in the last year because he knows the game. He knows how to play the game in boxing. Conor Benn has been in there, let's face it. But that's one of the major fights on the calendar that comes up next weekend in Las Vegas on the Zone. Do you have any feelings about Conor Benn in this fight? Because Conor Benn is a tough one. It's lost to Canelo Alvarez, we know that. But Conor, they're going to 147 too. So, and Peter Dobson goes up and down in weight at times.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really big on this when it comes to this fight besides bragging rights. Almost, this is a professional Golden Glove championship fight. Like this is what this is going to be. They're going to be able to put themselves in a spot where they can maybe become a mandatory one day, but right now it's just about bragging rights, man. Mancuso. There's nothing big really inside of it. Nothing huge.
But for Peter Dobson, for him, who I know well, and I want to try and get him on the program. I don't know if we'll succeed with it next week at Fight Week out there. But for Peter Dobson, it is, he's making some good money for this fight. It's an important fight for him because he wants to show that he belongs in there, and he finally got the fight he deserved and a career that's been up and down for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, like, let's X the money out. See, I never fought for the money. That's why I say X the money out. This is all about respect. This is what boxing was this for me. Respect and understand who I am. The money is always going to come. Money is just comes with the territory, whatever you do in life. You get paid $5,000 an hour to $1 million in 30 seconds, like Mike Tyson was doing. It's all about what you're putting in. So if he's coming out here and he finally got the fight he deserves, again, it's still like a Golden Glove championship. What's he going to do once he gets this fight? Is this his championship? Because if this is the fight that he deserved, then that means he's going to lose the hunger the minute he gets his hand raised.
Exactly. Good points, Richard Pearson. We're going to jump ahead and we're going to look at the month of February right now as the fights come together. Of course, we're looking forward. Again, we've discussed it. We'll discuss it again next week. Tyson Fury, USAC, the Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. That's coming up February 17th in Saudi Arabia, which is becoming the fight capital of the world. Teofimo Lopez is coming up February 8th in Las Vegas against Jermaine Ortiz, where Lopez is WBO junior welterweight title, part of the alphabet soup. Interesting fight there. We'll analyze this more next week. And in February continues. We have fights every weekend. Some are not on the magnitude that I'm talking about now. Shaquille Forster and Abraham Nober. That's for Forster's WBC junior lightweight title. That at Madison Square Garden on Top Rank and ESPN, February 16th. And here's one that I am looking forward to. I'm going through the calendar. Not only the Dobson Ben fight next weekend, Edgar Berlanga, who had that 16 consecutive knockout streak of fights that went for a record and then just fell apart after that. He's coming back in the ring against Padraig McCrory, super middleweight. And this is on the Zone. They got a lot of fights coming up February 24th from Orlando, Florida. Just a few. There were a few others that we're going to go more into next week. Fight season is upon us again, and it'll continue leading up to Canelo Alvarez again at Cinco de Mayo in early May, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, fight season is always in. It's only Cinco de Mayo, the way they spread it out is because, let's be honest, Floyd created all of that. Floyd created the holiday specials.
You're right.
You should always be ready. You should always be ready to know that phone's going to ring and you see, I got to go out here and fight. There's no boxing is not football or basketball. It isn't hockey. There's always fight season.
They always say the old saying, you don't play boxing. That's so true.
Promoters learn that you can make a lot of money around the holidays. This is why we have with John Duddy, you go back to the Duddy or, Irish Mickey Ward. If you put them inside Madison Square Garden, during St. Patrick's Day in Madison Square Garden, you selling out over 19,000 tickets. That it's a sold out stadium. Half of these people don't even know who fighting. They just know that the person was Irish.
That's right. Yeah, well, the nationalities that get involved, the different diversity and ethnicities of the fight fan and the following that they have with certain fighters, and Irish John Duddy was one of them. You can go on and on. Top rank every year, Madison Square Garden with the Puerto Rican fighter on Puerto Rican, the National Puerto Rican Day Parade on the eve in New York City. They did that for years. Phil Trinidad, part of that. Miguel Cotto, major part of that. Sold out the Garden all the time when they did that. They tried it with Felix Verdeo, and they didn't get that point. Of course, we know Verdeo is now serving a light sentence for a murder he committed in Puerto Rico. Unfortunate there. And now they got Xander Zayas, the guy you see right there. And I'll move my head. There he is. Xander Zayas. That's their prize Puerto Rican product. And he likes fighting in the Garden. He's going to be back there soon again.
He behind you. That means you must be a fan of this.
Oh, I am. I love him. I hold nothing against Xander Zayas. And if you see it in the camera, Xander gave this to me one day last year. He's got a little character bookend thing here. See with the Puerto Rican flag. So besides that, he's a rising superstar. Okay. He keeps knocking opponents out, and he's on his way to a championship, and he's got the right promoter behind him, Bob Arum, the Hall of Fame promoter and Top Rank. All right, Rich, we're going to reach the bottom of this first of the hour here on the program. It's Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Richard Pearson. Ring 786 Twitter, which is now X. Get me there, and Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe, folks, on YouTube, where you're seeing this now, and on my channel, Rich Mancuso. That would be muchly, greatly appreciated, as I say. Rich, it's that time of the program. Again, your favorite part. Last week, you got it. I almost forgot to do this week, but I got one for you. Scott, it's not Fact of the Week till you put it up, Scott Churston, our great production guy, producer, Stream Punk Entertainment behind the scenes. It's the Fact of the Week. Let's see if Richard Pearson can get it on the first shot. Here we go. Scott, do you have Fact of the Week? There you go. It's not official to them. Now, Rich, there have been a lot of best lines in boxing from fighters or whatever. All right? And I'm going to throw one at you, see if you can get it. Let's see. I have quite a few, but I'm going to do this real quick because I really didn't prepare for this right now. But it goes back, but not too much back. This fighter said, boxing is sort of like jazz. The better it is, the less people can appreciate it. Boxing is sort of like jazz. The better it is, the less people can appreciate it. Remember, this is a fact, not trivia. Can you take a shot at it right away?
I'm gonna take a shot, but it's like I'm pleading guilty with an explanation. So
you don't know.
I want to say Joe Calzaghe just because his father trained him to jazz music. If it's not Joe Calzaghe, I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. But you were right. You good point and good guess. Do you want me to give you the answer now? I guess we will, right?
Yeah, let me know. Teach me.
Right. So this fighter, the former heavyweight champion of the world, who fought when he was in his 40 years of age bracket, all right, who said boxing is sort of like jazz. The better it is, the less people can appreciate it. And it was George Foreman who said about boxing and the certain type of music that's a part of it. George Foreman, a guy I admired real well, former heavyweight champion in that great heavyweight championship era. So, Rich, you didn't get the Fact of the Week this week. So that means you're 3 of them so far.
I learned something.
And you did. Yeah. And that comes out of my my historic. I'm not going to tell you where I get these from. People can guess who my mentor was. Years back, the late and the great Bert the Hat Sugar. Bert Sugar. Uncle Bert, as I call them. And Bert was an encyclopedia of knowledge with boxing. So not one I got from Uncle Bert. Let him continue to rest in peace. I can't believe he's been gone all this time. All right, folks, we'll be back with you at the bottom of the hour. Look at the social media, scroll of the screens, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little MMA. We have a amateur MMA fighter coming up as part of Dangerzone II a week from Saturday at the Armory up in Newburgh, New York, which will be streamed live through Stream Punk Entertainment, Streamback Combat Sports on pay-per-view. We'll tell you more about that. Talk to Chandler Moody when we come back with more Keep It in the Ring. Stay with us.
And always stoking the fire, adrenaline is overloading. Hit the mat like a fighter, they never let up, never throwing, giving to their desires. No, they keep working on their focus.
It's your home for combat sports. It's Keep It in the Ring. It's boxing. It's wrestling. It's jiu-jitsu. All of that stuff. And grappling, and of course, MMA. And we're going to get into that now at the second part of the program. I welcome in Chandler Moody. He's an amateur working his way up in the MMA ranks, and he's going to be one of the highlight fighters of many. Next Saturday evening up in Newburgh, New York at the Armory is Dangerzone II, presented by Mac Promotions on pay-per-view live. You can order it. We'll have that on the screen in a moment. And Chandler, welcome in, my friend. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. So let's talk about you a little bit and get the fight fans to know who you are on the MMA side. This is going to be your second fight for Mac Promotions and Danger Zone coming up. I remember your first fight up in the Armory, and we'll show that back in September. And you're out of Shinobi. That's your training stable. Unanimous decision, 30-27 versus Dan Angel, I believe. It went 3 rounds. It was kickboxing. That's what you do, right?
No, I usually do MMA. That was just the only fight they could find me then. So this next one, MMA.
Okay, and you're very good at being a striker, which is very important, very aggressive, which is very important. And just like boxing, Richard Pierce and my co-host, doing that scores points with the judges over there by the cage. We call it cage side, not ringside. Chandler, where are you from?
I'm from Watertown, New York.
Okay, so you're not going to be too far from the event, from the venue. And how many people you got coming to the show?
I'm not sure how many are coming this time, but we usually have a group come down with us to support us. So it's a long drive. So,
are you ready for this fight? Do you know who your opponent is?
Yeah, I know who the opponent is. He's a debut fighter, so there's not really any information on him. But I've been training pretty hard, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
And we look forward to seeing it. And I look forward to calling the match, as we call it, or the bout at cage side next Saturday night up at the Newburgh Armory in Newburgh, New York. Richard, any questions for Chandler Moody before? And we're going to show some footage of the first fight. I believe Scott Churston has some background on that first fight. We'll comment on it as we go along as well.
Yeah, my first question is, are you staying in MMA, or are you thinking about coming over here to the boxing world?
Definitely staying with MMA.
You want to stay with MMA?
Yeah, I like boxing too, but I'm more interested in MMA. I like the ground aspect to it and the kicking.
So what do you have? You have jiu-jitsu background, wrestling. What do you have? What makes you that comfortable to stay there?
Yeah, I have a wrestling background.
Okay.
So let's take a look at that fight in September, Dangerzone 1 up at the Armory. And Chandler, feel free to comment what's going on here in the opening round. This was a tough fight, too. It got physical right there.
Oh, yeah.
Chandler, are you in the blue or the black headgear?
I'm in the blue headgear.
Okay.
Now, what are you doing there in that first round? What is going on? Because just like in boxing, you want to feel guys out, but this became very aggressive right away. And this was a kickboxing match.
Yeah, I don't think I really used the feeling out process. I think I kind of just went straight into it. And
You went right at it. Is that your style? Are we going to see that again next Saturday night?
It depends. They're two different things that we're doing. You know, this is kickboxing, so it's a little bit different than what I normally do. So it took us some getting used to. You know, no takedowns, and the feints are a lot different.
All right, but you take the skills from kickboxing, obviously, into the MMA part of it, of combat sports, and you're an amateur, so you're still learning all of this. How difficult is the transition going from kickboxing to MMA style? Is it similar? Is it difficult?
I think it's pretty similar. Besides, you know, obviously the takedown part and the shooting in on people. You know, it's easy to get kicked in the face when you're shooting on somebody that low.
You come with that repertoire again of being an excellent striker and being very aggressive, and we're seeing that here in your kickboxing match back in September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's I would say being dominant and always coming forward and being at it is definitely my style. You know, I like to be really aggressive and keep them on their feet. You know, don't give them any room for breaks. You know, I think my cardio is a lot better than most guys that I'll fight, so I can keep going the whole match without getting as tired as them.
And again, they're 3 2-minute rounds as compared to 3-minute rounds in boxing. So you got 2 minutes to do what you got to do, and only 3 rounds. And I believe that's what it's going to be again for you next Saturday night.
Yeah.
Richard Pearson, what do you think of this when you see this? Because you're getting involved, you're getting acclimated more to the MMA world as well. You know about it as well. But you see this. What do you think of this young man, Chandler Moody?
Yeah, I'm watching the video, and you know, I see it's more of kickboxing right now. You know, I was hoping I was going to be able to see that, you know, what he does with his MMA style. I guess I'll have to witness that live. But right now, I mean, he has really good stand-up. You know, I could see he's hesitant inside of this match right now because he wants to grapple so bad. You can see that he wants to grab this kid, and it's kind of like forcing him to stop himself from doing certain things. You know, that's what I'm saying in this video. You know, so I would love to see him, you know, in his MMA style.
Chandler Moody, our guest on Keep It in the Ring right now. You're looking at some footage of his kickboxing for an event back in September for Dangerzone I, Dangerzone II coming up. And there it is there. Now the decision is going to be announced. What are you thinking there, Chandler? What are you thinking before that decision?
I was pretty confident that I won the whole time. I feel like I got a lot more strikes than he did, and especially hard ones. You know, like there are certain times where I saw his head bouncing off the cage. You know, it's hard to do any damage with those headgear on. But I was pretty confident that I won, you know, leading up to the decision.
It was close, 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards. But it was a unanimous decision as well.
I got one question. Chandler, how you felt when you saw his head bouncing off the cage?
Because that your headgear, it bounces off, and then the cage is pretty bouncy, you know. So like,
how'd you feel? How'd you feel? You felt like you was doing your job?
Yeah, I was really wishing that we weren't wearing any headgear, but it was all right.
Do you feel the kicks more, the striking more when it comes at you, or the punches more when they come at you?
I think kicks you definitely feel more than punches.
And how do you how bad is it? Like when a fighter gets nailed, and Richard could tell you that, and you get hit to the head or to the body, you're going to feel it. You might even go down. How do you feel it? What's the impact on you when you get striked or punched or both at the same time, which could happen?
Oh.
Yeah, usually I like try to back up and give myself a few seconds to recover, you know, like I I won't continue coming forward because I don't want to get knocked out. So
Yeah.
especially with kicks to the body, like I think in this last fight that you were just showing, he got me with a knee in the body at one point, and I was really feeling it. It was right in my liver, and I had to back off for a second. That was, I think, the only time during the fight that I was walking backwards and backing off. But
That was a tough, aggressive fight. And Richard Pearson, my colleague here on the program, Keep It in the Ring, is going to be there to watch it live as well. And you're fighting again at 125, right? That your weight coming in,
no, this one's at 170.
which would be considered what in MMA standards compared to boxing?
It'd be middleweight.
Okay. Well, this is pretty comparable. Middleweights in boxing could go, well, no, they're much less than that, 10 pounds lighter, in fact, maybe. And you are training with the Shinobi group. Is that it? Your team. Where do they come out of? The gym. Are you there, Rich Chandler?
We can hear you, Chandler.
Chandler, are you still with us?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, Chandler, I was asking you, and then we're going to let you go because you're having some technical issues there. Your team, where do you fight out of? Is it Shinobi? Is that it? Is that what it's pronounced?
Yep. Shinobi MMA.
And where is that?
It's in Watertown, New York. It's closer to Canada, up north.
And I know a couple of you guys were on the first Danger Zone 1 show back in September at the Armory, and I think there might be another one or two on this card itself. We got to ask you, are people going to be there to support you this time? They were allowed the first time in September. Will they be there again?
Yeah, I think we'll have a group heading up there with us to support us like the last time.
Good for you. All right, how do people reach you, Chandler? How do people out there in social media get you? How do people get tickets that might still want to get them? It's your forum right now. Why don't you tell us all?
My Instagram is Chandler0704. And then I think they're selling tickets on the Danger Zone, the Instagram page for Danger Zone. They link for the tickets on there. And then
We'll have that. Yeah,
well.
we'll have that flashed up. Scott Schertzen will, with String Punk Entertainment, will flash that up. We're a part of this promotion again. I'm proudly going to be calling the fights by Cage Side, including yours. And I don't want to take up any of your time because I know you work also as you still working as a landscaper.
Yeah.
That's a full day for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. But you do work, and then you go to the gym, and now you're ready to fight again. I'll see you at weigh-in next Friday, and good luck next Saturday night up at the Armory up in Newburgh, New York, as Mac Promotions and String Punk Entertainment once again present Danger Zone 2, an amateur MMA event. There's also MMA, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, a little of everything you're going to get tonight. A long night of fights from 7 p.m. to about midnight. And it's going to be a long night, so fasten your seatbelts, as I will be. Chandler Moody, thank you very much. Rich, any final comments to an upcoming champ?
Just want to tell him good luck, and we'll see him out there.
Thank you.
Chandler, thank you for your time. I know you're in the middle of training, wrapping it up. Fight night is almost here, and you're tired, but you look like you're ready. Good luck to you. See you next week at weigh-in.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandler. Richard, good perspective again from an MMA fighter here. What did you think of his, more so as a fighter yourself, what did you think of his reflexes, his ability to avoid the strike there or a punch?
I mean, that was it's an amateur show right now. I don't think he's a bad fighter. And, I think he has, natural ability right now. But it's gonna when he gets to the next level, that's when we get to ask those type of questions about reflexes and skill set. Right now he's on a level of most of the fighters. He's at the level where conditioning is what's really going to showcase what the fight is all about.
Yeah, and I remember the first fight, and I called him in September. He was in great condition then, and he looks like he's ready to go tomorrow.
Like
So we would,
he
yeah,
believes in conditioning. Like you said, he knows he's in better shape than most fighters. And right now, at the level that he's fighting, that's the main key. When you become pro, yes, conditioning is always very important. But if you got a certain skill set, you know how to strategize, you got all this experience. That's why the older fighter, like for example Bernard Hopkins, he was able to beat a lot of young fighters of experience. It wasn't his conditioning; it was his experience that was beating these guys.
and you wonder how pro fighters, when they first came up, they don't do it as much now. Some guys were fighting, and I remember because I covered these fights at the old theater in Madison Square Garden, which is now the Hulu Theater. But there used to be fights there every 2 weeks, and sometimes you see one guy, and then he come right back in 2 weeks later. And a guy that I know well and you know well did that, became a champion as well, Mark McDowell. Remember Mark McDowell, Jersey City guy, New Jersey? Fought, I believe, is a featherweight. I'm going to try and get him on the program next week as well and talk about that and how it was. Every 2 weeks, he would be in that adjacent theater to Madison Square Garden fighting for MSG, the promotion banner, and Harold Weston. And that's how it used to be every 2 weeks to build up the record. You don't see that no more.
No, you don't see that anymore. Fighters, after fighters fight, they want to go chill. They want to go hang out. There's no, like I told you, it's lack of discipline. I think Floyd Mayweather is the last disciplined fighter of all time. We might not see another disciplined fighter such as himself. Meaning, not saying that there's no fighters out there that's not dedicated to the sport, but this man comes from a place where he was surrounded by distractions. He had every reason to lose, So to see a man that could separate himself from that world that he was being raised in and was involved in, that was a lot of discipline. Even to start making the type of money he was making after he fought the Oscar De La Hoyas, he stayed disciplined. To this day, the man is still disciplined. He won't put on exhibitions if he wasn't.
Yeah, discipline. He is disciplined enough that he might also be influencing Ryan Garcia, because as we saw last week, and we know, they are running together on the streets of Las Vegas, and you always see Mayweather getting in his ear. And you got to wonder if Floyd Mayweather is starting to be a bad influence with Ryan Garcia when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya, because Mayweather and De La Hoya, they don't have a good history as well.
I wouldn't say it's a bad influence. I mean, like I said, Floyd Mayweather is no longer a fighter; he's a promoter, and it's all about business. So look at Ryan Garcia as, let's say he's a female, and Floyd Mayweather's him and Oscar De La Hoya is him, and they both want this one female. But we see that Ryan Garcia is in a relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. However, Floyd Mayweather already beat Oscar De La Hoya inside the ring, and his promotion company is doing better than that. Of course, the other fighter is going to look at where the grass is greener. He's going to start listening. He's going to start listening to, the side cat. He's going to listen to another person.
Good point. Bringing up very good points. Yeah.
Whether it's disciplined, he's not. He's not wearing fishnets. He's not sniffing the cocaine. He's not bashing Ryan Garcia, who's not even his fighter. Mayweather could bash him, but he doesn't. So of course he's going to listen to Floyd Mayweather. It's a business.
It is a business. When it comes down to it, it's boxing business, it's boxing politics. And again, as I said at the beginning of the program tonight, social media has now become the place to watch this all unfold. And that's where you find out when the fights are being made and where they're going to be. And it wasn't like that in my era, but it is now. All right. Look at this Saturday on the Zone, and Oscar De La Hoya has one of his major fighters in action, Jaime Magami, who is a puncher, and he can go at it punch for punch. We've seen that before. The Golden Boy promotion show, Jaime is 42-0 undefeated, super middleweight, and he's fighting a known name, a guy we know, John Ryder, 36-6-0, a guy that Canelo Alvarez defeated last year. What do you make of this fight?
I mean, as a fighter, Mugabe, he should. This fight shouldn't go past, I would say, 7 rounds. Because Ryder, he's a southpaw, and he doesn't have a high punch output. He doesn't pull the trigger quick. He sits back, he waits as if he's trying to counter, but you can't counter punch like a Mugabe, because he's constantly throwing punches, and each round he picks up the pace even more. So in order to counter punch him, you have to punch when he punches, which is dangerous. So I can see Mugabe like taking this fight by 7 or 8. I see the fight going by 7 to 8. I mean, the kid has a really good jab. He fights behind his jab. He's not just running out there throwing punches.
It's very exciting to watch. He's very
fighter.
And he's one of the top fighters in De La Hoya's Golden Boy stable. John Ryder, no slouch, though, because he took Canelo Alvarez to the limit, losing a unanimous decision to him last year. No one thought he could do that, and he did.
You said that like it's hard to go to a decision with a man who we all know lost more than 4 fights. Really? You just said that? Come on. Canelo is trash. We know he's trash. They're using Canelo just to be a cash cow. Canelo has lost multiple fights.
I would not say Canelo Alvarez is trash. I'd say that his skills might be dwindling as he's getting up there a little bit. But I don't think he's trash, Rich. Come on, he's built a legacy.
I'm not going to allow you to say that. Name one fighter that he actually beat that was worthy of something. He fought small people. He's doing the same thing that Devin Haney's doing. He's making a certain weight and then coming back into the ring 15 to 20 pounds heavier, and then he's beating the people. Whenever he got in the ring with people like could take a punch or could move, what happens? He looks
he's not knocking guys out at the ratio he used to.
Name a fighter that he fought that we can say we're going to give him credit for it. Bivol made him show the world.
Well, a light heavyweight. That's why. I'm not. Dimitri Bivol would beat him again, whether it be 168 or 175. He'll beat him again.
Name one fighter of caliber that he beat that you can say you give him credit for.
I got to think that one over. I'll sleep on it for the week.
We shouldn't have to do that. We should be able to say it. I could say, name one fighter of caliber that Evander Holyfield beat. You can name 3 right now. You can say Mike Tyson. You can say Buster Douglas. You can say the Riddick Bowe trilogy. Name one fighter that Canelo Alvarez has fought that we can say we're so happy about that fight of caliber.
Yeah, good. I'm going to sleep on it. I can't give you my answer right away. All right. Something to think about for a whole week, because Richard Pearson presented me with a challenge. Getting back at me because of the fact of the week. You're going to give me that? Let's wrap up the program. Let's talk pro wrestling real bit, and let's talk about Rich on the business side, which would interest you. First of all, there's talk about Hulk Hogan having another match at WrestleMania coming up in April in Philadelphia. But this was huge, and this goes to show again where streaming and sports, and especially with boxing, wrestling, whatever, now taking over. Netflix, a streaming network I don't subscribe to because I refuse to subscribe to all these damn streaming networks when I have a cable subscription. All right?
You got
Netflix with a $5 billion, some 10-year deal, broke the news the other day. Monday Night Raw going off the USA Network as a part of your cable subscription, and now you have to pay Netflix. What do they? This is huge, not only for Netflix, for the whole TV streaming industry, and for the WWE. They feel they've got a bonanza with this right now. How much does Netflix charge? What is their yearly? Do you buy it by the year?
It's not about the subscription fee. You got to understand, again, it's business. Netflix has been in the jam. You know, they put Blockbuster out of business, kind of like how Showtime put HBO out of business. And now, you know, other streaming networks like Hulu, Roku, and all these other guys, they
I don't
came
have
in.
any of them. And I
Listen,
love my Monday Night Raw. It's not going to be on USA Network now next year.
there's no more cable television. 1-800
No.
cable is done. The 80s is gone. We're done with that. You got to get.
Do you have Netflix? Do you subscribe to Netflix?
Yes, I have.
How much is it? Tell me.
I don't know. I just subscribe.
Scott Churston, are you there? You would know this because you're in on all this better than me. How much is Netflix, Scott?
Hey, how we doing? $16.95 a month.
I'm not going to pay that to watch Monday Night Raw. That's insane. I got the Peacock network. It's less than $5. And I'm not cheap. I'm not paying that to watch Monday Night Raw. That's a shame. But it comes down to money. And that's what this is all about. That's what it is. And that's the future of sports. And in combat sports, boxing, wrestling, MMA already has to deal with ESPN, ESPN Plus with the UFC and so forth. You have to pay for it to watch it. And I don't think that's right. I do not like that. Yeah, I'm old school, but I don't like that. Especially you're breaking a tradition of Monday Night Raw on the USA Network. They've been there from the beginning, from its inception. I went to the first Monday Night Raw show back in New York City at the old Manhattan Center.
Mancuso, you're making the same argument that, you know, in the past people made about the television, because nobody wanted to watch television because they was used to listening to the radio. It's a streaming network world now.
No, I still listen to radio as well, Rich. That's not extinct in my world. Neither are you. Neither is the combat sports industry. And neither is Keep It in the Ring. We'll keep this going next week, and hopefully have another guest on, maybe Mark McDowell, maybe Peter Dobson from the boxing world. Don't forget, fans, to order the Danger Zone Mac Promotions event next Saturday night on pay-per-view. It doesn't cost more than $10. Now, see, I'm promoting pay-per-view. You know why? Because I'm the lead broadcaster. That's why. But that's next Saturday night. We'll talk more about that next week. It's Dangerzone II up at the Armory in Newburgh, New York. And ticket prices are, if you're in the area, you want to go, if you're somewhere in the country, want to go, watching this somewhere, you still can get tickets online and also order the pay-per-view, as many people will, I understand. And we'll narrow it in more next week. Richard Pearson will be there with me at Cage Side next weekend as well, as he gets more acclimated into the MMA. This has been a fast, good hour. We have a lot to talk about. Let's see how the Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia back and forth continues. Let's see if it continues this week, and I'm sure we'll hear more as we get these fights going and get them together, Rich, and that competitive junior welterweight division of 140. Thanks again, Rich. Great hour. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I think Oscar De La Hoya should sell fishnets on Amazon.
I don't forget Amazon Prime and all this too. That's here we go again. Fans, thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. That would be appreciated here at Spring Punk Entertainment on YouTube and my channel, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe here at Keep It in the Ring. My social media handles at the bottom of the screen again. X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. I'm everywhere in the world. They call me a hooer in the business, but I never get tired of boxing and combat sports, which includes the pro wrestling, the MMA and stuff, especially pro boxing. That's my passion, as everyone knows. So, Rich, we'll be back next week, and we'll go live soon. Like, comment, subscribe, folks. Stay well, be healthy, be good to each other. And as always, Rich, what do we say to end it all?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring, everyone. Thank you, Scott Church and String Punk Entertainment. This is Keep It in the Ring. See you again next week.